Lucasfilms, a company owned by George Lucas, produced the first 6 Star Wars movies. For those who are new to the franchise, his name might also sound familiar because he is also involved in recent Star Wars shows like The Mandalorian and The Last Jedi. Recently, the producer revealed to viewers that the new shows were going to return to the Lucas era. If you don't know what this means, keep watching the video. Firstly, how are Star Wars shows returning to the Lucas era? The Star Wars sequel trilogy has created a lot of controversy among fans of the franchise. Some people prefer The Last Jedi to The Rise of Skywalker, and vice versa. One thing that many Star Wars fans seem to agree on is that the sequels never felt like they were following a single cohesive vision. The fact that so many previously scheduled Star Wars films have been delayed indefinitely or canceled outright does not precisely dispel the notion that Lucasfilm, at least in the modern period, lacks a grand Star Wars strategy. The good news is that owing to shows like The Mandalorian and the impending Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Star Wars has found a new lease on life on television. These new projects hint that Lucasfilm has a long-term strategy in place, with episodes set at various points in the Star Wars history, all working together as parts of a broader whole. And it all comes back to one of the Star Wars franchise's oldest motifs. Star Wars was written as a critique of the Vietnam War and Western colonialism by George Lucas, who was originally in line to direct the vehemently anti-war film Apocalypse Now. As a result, despite its name, the first Star Wars is basically an anti-war film, and this is the era in which the sequels will be set. Although I think it is good that a show has a central theme and stuff, I believe that the major reason why people watch Star Wars is because of the intense action and blazing scenes. Now that we've talked about this, it's time we take a look at all the products Lucasfilm has in the pipeline, the newly announced series, as well as confirmed release dates and windows. You do not want to miss out on this part of the video. Let's start with Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi release date 27th of May. In this series, Obi-Wan Kenobi has a sense of defeat 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. He leads the life of a recluse on Tatooine and maintains a watchful eye on young Luke Skywalker from a concealed place. However, an old acquaintance from his past contacts him for assistance, and he decides to abandon the planet to go on an adventurous new voyage. Unaware of what happened to his old apprentice, the Jedi Master accidentally discovers that Darth Vader is still alive. This video does not reveal all about the show, but from what we can see, it is going to be fantastic. However, I don't think there will be any hesitancy from true Star Wars enthusiasts because they are all anxious to watch the show. Next up is Star Wars. Andor Season 1, release date August 31st. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, takes place a few years before the events that are detailed in the film, and during this period, the Rebel Alliance was beginning to develop its strategy for the next fight. During the height of the Galactic Empire, Diego Luna portrays Cassian Andor, an intelligence agent. Tony Gilroy's upcoming series will have action and spies in a universe that rejects classic Manichaean notions of good and evil in favor of more nuanced concepts. There will be a total of 2 seasons for it. Fans of the Star Wars universe are giddy with anticipation for this new installment. One thing I have noticed when watching these Star Wars shows is that everyone can watch and appreciate them. Of course, it helps if you have watched all the prior Star Wars movies. Every program is interesting enough to appreciate without any Star Wars expertise. Now for Star Wars, Tales of the Jedi, release date fall of 2022. This is an anthology series that uses the art style that was employed in the Clone Wars. Mace Windu, Qui-Gon Jinn, Ahsoka Tano, and Count Dooku are just a few of the prequel characters who will make appearances in the upcoming episodes. It has come to our attention that Liam Neeson, the actor who brought the Phantom Menace's version of Obi-Wan Kenobi's master to life, will reprise his role in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. With such a massive fan following, I don't think that Star Wars movies can afford to be awful. Each event is a guaranteed hit. Therefore, there is no need for any advertisement. So my fingers are crossed that this program meets up to the expectations placed on it. Next on the list is Star Wars The Bad Batch. Season 2, release date end of 2022. Since an inhibitor chip was installed in their brains following the adoption of Order 66, the clones have been following the commands. They acted treacherously toward their fellow troops and slaughtered their Jedi friends. The events of The Bad Batch take place not long after those of the first season, but a bit more time is gone since the conclusion of the previous season. As a result of the fact that they are defective clones, the members of Squad 99 each possess a unique set of skills. In a few months, the next chapter in Crosshair, Hunter, Tech, Wrecker, Omega, and the rest of the gang's mission will be published. If you have not seen Season 1, I strongly advise you to do so immediately. Fans of the show can only pray that the creators of Season 2 do not undo what they have accomplished with the first season's plot. As I earlier indicated, if you have never watched any Star Wars movies, you can enjoy any of these series. And now, onto Star Wars Ahsoka. Season 1, release date 2023. Ahsoka Tano will next be seen in a live-action film after appearing in 2 animated films, The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett. The apprentice of Anakin Skywalker will meet up with some familiar individuals from their past. Guests from the Star Wars Rebels television program include Ezra Bridger, Sabine Wren, and Hera Syndulla. In the backdrop, a villain who is well known to followers of the old canon and who was introduced into the current canon through the usage of rebels and other objects. The principal enemy will be Grand Admiral Thrawn, who combined with Darth Vader and Tarkin serves as one of Palpatine's most loyal lieutenants. Up next, we have Star Wars The Mandalorian, Season 3, release date February 2023. The Book of Boba Fett, the first Mandalorian spin-off, reunited Grogu and Din Djarin, better known as Mando. Our entire family was overjoyed by the event. Both of these heroes will start out on a mission for redemption that will ultimately take them to Mandalore, the planet that the Mandalorians call their home, which we remember is a cult with its variants, not a species. According to the teaser clip that Lucasfilm has revealed behind closed doors, Bo-Katan will make a comeback in the film as one of the adversaries. This is, at the very least, what is being alluded to. The series has been renewed for a 4th season. Now for Star Wars Skeleton Crew, Season 1, release date 2023. There is not much information available about the storyline of Skeleton Crew, other than the fact that it will occur in the same time frame as The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka after Return of the Jedi. As the principal protagonist, Jude Law and a group of young kids will take center stage in this series. It was once known under the alias Grammar Rodeo, and it has been unofficially described as the Stranger Things of the Star Wars world. According to Filoni, Jon Favreau, Christopher Ford, and John Watts will serve as executive producers on a hypothetical project that will be just as much for kids as the Clone Wars. Moving on, we have Star Wars Visions, Season 2, release date spring of 2023. This Japanese animation show is made by several companies and has no link to the canonical canon of the franchise. This is the idea that Lucasfilm established throughout the first season and will continue to investigate across the second batch of episodes. There is no need to worry about altering the timeline or violating the canon because the stories are based on the premise that the authors have complete creative control over how their ideas grow. This is why they can be put at any moment. And finally, Star Wars The Young Jedi Adventures, Season 1, release date spring of 2023. The High Republic was a rich time in Star Wars history, many millennia before the Skywalker family. Novels and comic books have already depicted this new era of storytelling, but television shows and video games will follow suit shortly. An animated series called Young Jedi Adventures, designed for a children's audience and featuring Jedi initiates throughout their years of training to become Padawans, was one of the things that were unveiled at the Star Wars Anaheim Celebration 2022. Well guys, we have come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications for more content.